Okay, so this is probably my fifth or the sixth um, uh, weekly reflection videos that I've made so far. Um, I have been slacking off because I had a few days to break and should have done this perhaps 2 days ago, but I'm doing this today anyways. I meant it when I was promising myself to start this and at the same time wanting to keep this as a routine, no matter how short this video is. So let's get started with the topics to address, starting with how was my week. Um, quickly going through my week, it's been great. It's been great. I binge watched perhaps two anime series, pretty good. Spent the entire afternoon, entire weekend, 2 days ago to finishing that. Had a very decent break, transitioning into the very kind of the latter part of the 1 year grad school program. Very happy to have having this sort of end, seeing the kind of the light under the tunnel pretty quick. As in, I'm very much hoping it to end. But when I talk to myself about this, wanting something to end and wanting things to, because at the same time you're not enjoying it, and somehow your definition of suffering is very much suited for this particular situation. I've always had this thought of, okay, I'm not happy here, but someday, let's say next year, you're going to look back and think, okay, there are some little elements, joyful times that I still miss, and I'm sure I will. Let's go back to the one of the topics that I've been derailing. So I watched a lot of movies, took a break. This is the next section of the quarter. Perhaps going into the favorite part of the program, which is more of them has to do with reading, and which is ironic, ironic. I'll talk about this later. But less on physical, tangible designs. So I'm very happy, very happy. Yeah, and obviously, maybe to catch up with the pandemic as well, Hong Kong has been documenting in around 10,000 cases a day-ish, maybe more. So the ideal world, is obviously not as of this moment, but hoping to control this in the coming months. What are my learnings? Well, a lot of learnings really. Obviously been watching Chinese philosophy, been skipping around with Western philosophy, Chinese philosophy, not saying which one is better, but when you learn things, especially philosophy, it's often very contradictory, but I'm glad to see that there are common grounds between Stoic philosophy and the Chinese philosophy I'm currently reading and watching right now. And one cannot, simply argue that, okay, the old version, the ancient texts are bad or are of no information or of no value. And this is certainly an understatement. So I think we need to definitely think more and contemplate more, and not just to think, but to really dive in or dig deep, and then to have actual thoughts. You can't just say, okay, well, he said it and I'm going to follow his thought. Maybe, I mean, that's just irresponsible. So having one's own understanding of philosophy is important, obviously. But my very point of philosophy learning was to ease my tension lifestyle. Might I say that the sort of the quote unquote suffering I was dealing with 1 or 2 months ago. But I'm glad that not only did I try to, get myself out of the rut, but at the same time, the schoolwork has been relieved. A bit anxious though because of this weird feeling of not being able to work every day, and to relearn what is normal, which is a normal day of life, which is working 8 hours a day for 5 days a week. And now, and sometimes I hate to say this, I'm missing the tension lifestyle somehow, which is sickening. In fact, it's troublesome. It's fearful. Don't know why I missed that. Perhaps it's the advent of technology, the laptops, your phones, your social media, the driving your dopamine, which is somewhat of a fearful event, and obviously something I feel anxious about at times. What has been troubling me this week? So this is the third question. A large amount of information, from videos, the readings. At the end of the day, you got to choose a set of values to follow through, and you can't live with extensive amount of rules written on a piece of A4 paper. It's not possible. It's irrelevant. It's too much. It's too hard to live through. So I think, I obviously think about my future career, but I think I want to strike a balance between my future career and the study of philosophy and psychology. Psychology these days seems to be rather dark and still a very young subject, and it stems from obviously psychology is a new subject from the ancient Western philosophy. Not sure about the ancient Chinese or Asian history. So my primary focus is still going to be around design, philosophy, and psychology, I think, in the next year. So I really I really want to dive into a certain number of topics, not just kind of playing around. Obviously, I want to be able to know something really well, and not just knowing things, on a surface level. Obviously, that's it's kind of irresponsible to yourself, because when you talk to someone, that's just, people think you're fucking boring, and you have no value to share. Anyways, so in terms of improvement, I've always thought about academics. Learning from school has been quite boring and useless, disinterested, detached, and recently indifferent, right? And the truth is, perhaps that's true. And when someone like me, who noticeably have these disadvantages and disabilities, can see no difference between those students who appear to be normal. So I would say I'm doing very well in terms of grade, in terms of what I'm learning. I just don't find it useful. I don't know where I could use this, right? I mean, I have this same argument for years. But maybe, I've been wanting to looking forward to life on my own, and without the pressure from school, college, obviously. I myself learn every day. I think this is, in fact, that yeah, reading or videos. It's been like this forever. So I have the confidence to live on, like as in to process whatever challenges I might face the next year, because I think there's nothing irretrievably hard next year. You know, it's not quite possible. But I've just heard one quote today, which kind of goes along the line of this. It says like, you encounter problems when you are ready for it. As in, when you're 5 years old, you encounter problems that you can solve as a 5-year-old. When you are 40 years old, then, you know, life will present you another set of problems that you can solve when you're 40 years old. So I'm kind of anxious as to, okay, what kind of challenges am I going to face next year? I mean, I don't know. But I'm really looking forward to the next year and beyond, because, you know, school is going to go away. Man, I've been expecting this moment for a very long time, and can see that light. Really, I do. And you know, in times like this, I'm always reminded of how appreciative I am in this world. You know, there's a quote that goes along the line of if you don't know, if you've never tasted sour, then you never know what's sweet. So if I haven't really gone through this sort of painful experience at school, then hey, what's sweet, right? So I think I've been talking for a really long time. Perhaps let's just end it here, and I'll chat with you next week. Bye.